Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on something really fascinating, I think. It's how a major tech company, Cisco, approaches its own internal IT. Innovation, productivity.
Yeah.
It's a real masterclass.
It really is, turning that tech inward to drive value.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for this deep dive, we've got a couple of really interesting sources. First, there's this great interview from back in 2007. It gives a fantastic look at Cisco's philosophy on systems innovation.
Yeah, that's a core concept for them.
And then we're also looking at the career of, well, a really key leader there, Rebecca Jacoby. She was central to making these strategies happen at Cisco for, over 2 decades?
It's absolutely instrumental, yes.
So our mission today, pretty clear. Let's uncover the specific strategies, the core ideas, and even the challenges Cisco faced that let them become such a benchmark for using IT internally. And more importantly, let's pull out those lessons, those timeless bits that you can actually use, whether you're leading a team or just curious about how tech drives business.
And it's worth saying this isn't just like a history lesson about one company. Fascinating, yes, but the bigger picture is understanding that shift. Seeing IT not just as a cost, but as a strategic partner.
Right. Proactive, not reactive.
Exactly. How that drives real business value. And, crucially, how leadership, like a CIO, is absolutely essential in making that transformation stick, making IT a value creator.
Okay, let's dive right in then. There's this really striking fact from the sources. Cisco reported saving around $1 billion annually just by using its own tech.
$1 billion. It's a staggering number.
It really is. I mean, lots of companies talk savings, but on that scale internally. So what's the secret sauce here? Is it just, they're better at executing, or is there something deeper in their philosophy?
Well, it's a great question, because that number, it isn't just about being efficient. It's fundamental. The 2007 interview puts it really clearly. IT is the enabler of Cisco's business strategy, full stop.
The enabler.
And that's not just, corporate speak. Their goal was to enable everything we do with IT. So IT isn't off in a corner, it's woven right into the business at, multiple levels.
Multiple levels. How so?
Well, first, enabling the basic operational stuff, keeping the gears turning smoothly, then enhancing what the business can do, its overall capabilities, and then, critically, supporting growth strategies, laying the groundwork for new markets, expansion. It's deep integration.
So definitely not just keeping the lights on, or even just cutting costs, which is what you often hear.
Right.
The source specifically points out this dual impact. Reducing operating expenses, yes, that's powerful. But also, and this seems key, through enabling revenue growth.
Precisely. It's proactive value generation.
Can you give an example? How does IT enable revenue growth, not just cut costs?
Oh, sure. Think about their e-commerce systems, or CRM. If IT makes the online buying experience smoother, or gives sales teams real-time inventory data to close deals faster.
Oh, okay. That directly helps sales.
Exactly. Or product development. If IT gives engineers better collaboration tools, better data analytics, they can design and launch new products faster, get them to market quicker when demand is high.
Right, shortening that cycle time.
Yeah. It's about using tech to create opportunities, improve the customer experience, speed up sales, not just streamlining the back office.
That makes a lot of sense. And connecting this vision back to leadership, it fits perfectly with Rebecca Jacoby's story, CIO from 2006 to 2015. Her profile explicitly says her job was to make the Cisco IT organization a strategic business partner.
Strategic partner.
Producing significant business value and financial performance, customer satisfaction and loyalty, market share, and productivity. It sounds like her focus on operational excellence was really about making this whole philosophy a reality.
Absolutely. Her time as CIO really shows this wasn't just a concept on paper. She was the one translating that big strategic idea into, actual business results.
Operational excellence wasn't just about efficiency then.
No, yes, efficiency mattered, but operational excellence meant the systems worked, they delivered, they improved constantly. But it also meant embedding IT into all parts of the business, tying it to metrics like financials and market share. Things often outside IT's traditional scope. That commitment to measurable business value is really what set them apart. And a testament to her leadership.
Okay, so they have this big vision. They're saving $1 billion. But the practical question then is, how do you measure all that?
Yeah.
Especially the revenue growth enablement part. That sounds fuzzy. How do they quantify it?
Yeah, that's the tricky part for a lot of places, right? But Cisco, they were quite clear. They measured IT's impact from a productivity perspective, and they actually expected at least half of our productivity to come through systems innovation.
Half. Wow. That's a huge chunk attributed just to internal systems.
It is. It shows they really saw systems innovation as a primary driver, not just a side benefit.
So how did the measurements work? Did they change over time?
They did. It's quite interesting, actually. The 2007 interview lays it out. Historically, like most companies, it was pretty simple. Revenue per headcount, or maybe expense to revenue ratio for operations.
Standard stuff.
Right. Good starting points, but limited. By 2007, they knew they needed more. So they started tracking things like process cycle times, transaction times, measuring speed and efficiency directly.
Okay, getting more granular.
Exactly. And they started quantifying revenue enablement, looking at how specific IT improvements actually boosted sales or market share. And as IT got even more aligned with strategy, they measured things like the time it takes to produce or scale required capabilities. Meaning, how fast could IT help the business launch a new product, or enter a new country, or respond to a competitor? It shows a real shift in understanding IT's value beyond just saving money.
And the reason for these evolving metrics. The source says, these measures help us to be more selective when prioritizing projects and more effective at measuring the success of a project.
Precisely. It's about smarter decisions.
So it wasn't just tracking for tracking's sake. It guided investment.
Exactly right. If you're just looking at revenue per head, you might miss the value of a system that, say, reduces customer churn. It secures future revenue, even if it doesn't boost it immediately. Measuring cycle times helps find bottlenecks. Measuring revenue enablement links that CRM upgrade directly to sales results. It moves beyond guesswork to data.
Got it. And linking back to Rebecca Jacoby, her profile mentions Cisco on Cisco deployments. Can you explain what that is and how it fits with these metrics?
Cisco on Cisco. Yeah, that was almost legendary there. Basically, Cisco used its own new products and solutions internally first, or at least at the same time as customers.
Eating their own dog food, so to speak.
Exactly. They lived in their own smart building or used their own next-gen network before selling it widely. It did a couple of things. One, it proved the tech worked in the real world. Two, they got tons of feedback from their own employees to make the products better for actual customers.
Okay, validation and feedback loop.
Right. And crucially, it let them rigorously measure the success of these internal rollouts using those advanced metrics we talked about. It created, as the source says, great synergies of IT and engineering. They weren't just building tech. They were using it, proving its value, measuring its impact, and refining it all internally.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. Tech changes so fast. Cisco's making this stuff. How did they handle implementing their own cutting-edge solutions internally without, constant chaos? What were the challenges?
That's the core tension, isn't it? The source identifies it perfectly, the need to add value as fast as the business's needs require it, and at the same time to balance the risks.
Speed versus stability.
Exactly. Imagine building the future of networking while also running your global business on potentially brand new, unproven parts of that future. It's a constant tightrope walk.
So what was the big dilemma they faced?
Often, they were changing both the business architecture, how they operated, and the system architecture, the IT underneath, simultaneously. So the decision was always, do we make small, incremental changes, or do we create something totally new, take advantage of more flexible tech, but maybe take on more risk?
The classic innovator's dilemma, right?
Yeah.
Tweak or leap.
Precisely. Stick with the familiar, or jump to something potentially way better, but also way riskier to implement.
So how do they manage that? Do they have specific architectural solutions?
They did. The interview highlights the real power of building upon a services-oriented architecture, or SOA.
SOA. Can you break that down simply?
Sure. Think of it like building with modular blocks instead of one giant piece. IT systems are built as a collection of separate services, like a pricing service or a login service that talk to each other.
Okay, like Lego bricks for IT.
Kinda, yeah. It meant they could update or replace one brick, one service, without having to rebuild the whole thing. This made them much more agile. Need a new pricing model? Swap out the pricing service? Much faster.
So that modularity was key to moving fast.
Absolutely. It allowed IT to be as agile as the business demands, which is critical when everything's changing constantly. But, and this is important, they stressed that managing this power, getting the most out of SOA, required ever tighter alignment with business strategy.
It always comes back to that alignment.
Always. You need the strategy and the leadership like Rebecca Jacoby provided to actually steer that powerful, agile technology effectively. Minimize the risks, maximize the speed.
Okay, let's broaden out a bit. This internal balancing act at Cisco is fascinating. But this reluctance, maybe, to jump on brand new tech, is that just a Cisco thing, or do you see that elsewhere, across industries?
That's a really good question to ask, and the interview tackles it directly. It mentions a reluctance to adopt IP and wireless technologies by companies generally, and it clarifies this wasn't just, say, an issue in India, but a shared global concern.
Okay, so it wasn't unique to one region. What were the common worries?
Pretty practical stuff, honestly, things that still resonate today. First, is the tech actually mature? Is it reliable? Second, is it secure? Can we trust our business data to it?
Security, always a big one.
Always. Then, internal readiness. Do we have the right processes? Do our people have the right skills to manage this new thing effectively? And maybe the biggest one, realizing the full value. Companies struggle to get the most out of a new tech if they didn't have that tight alignment with business strategy like Cisco works so hard to achieve.
So they could buy the shiny new toy, but didn't always know how to play with it strategically.
Exactly. You need more than just the tech. You need the plan, the skills, the integration.
Interesting. But the source also frames this hesitation differently, doesn't it?
It does. It sees it as a great opportunity for competitive differentiation. Basically, if everyone else is hesitant, the company's willing to tackle those concerns, invest in security, train their people, really integrate strategically, could leapfrog the competition. Smart adoption, not just early adoption, becomes the advantage.
That's a powerful takeaway for anyone listening, for sure. Okay, so given Cisco's intense focus on IT as a strategic internal force, what did they think about outsourcing IT? Does their approach mean outsourcing is always a bad idea?
Their view is pretty nuanced, practical, really. They felt it's appropriate to outsource work that is not core or mission critical to the business.
Okay, so non-strategic stuff is fine to outsource.
Right. Routine tasks, things that are commoditized. Outsourcing can save money and effort there, but they highlighted a big challenge. Outsourcing can hurt your ability to add new technology or applications as they are needed for the business.
So you lose flexibility.
You can, yeah. That crucial agility we talked about, it can be compounded, as they put it, if you've outsourced something fundamental like your network and you haven't managed that relationship really, really closely.
So if you outsource the foundations without tight control.
You might find yourself stuck when the business needs to change direction quickly. You can't innovate as fast because you're waiting on your outsourcing partner, or the contract doesn't allow for rapid changes. It comes down to control and strategic intent. What's truly core to your advantage, you probably want to keep that close.
Wow, okay. What a fascinating look inside.
Yeah.
So just to recap, we've seen Cisco's really groundbreaking view of IT, not just support, but a strategic partner. Saving $1 billion, yes, but also driving revenue.
A huge shift in thinking.
And their sophisticated way of measuring productivity through systems innovation, going way beyond simple metrics. Plus those timeless lessons about balancing speed and risk, using things like SOA, and that constant critical need for IT and business to be locked in step.
Absolutely. And it's not just abstract. You see it embodied in leaders like Rebecca Jacoby, CIO, then SVP of Operations, over 20 years pushing this exact philosophy, driving real financial results and operational excellence. Her career really shows the power of this integrated approach. She got that tech, applied right, could be the biggest lever for change.
Totally. So for you listening, whether you're leading a team or just trying to figure out how tech fits into the bottom line, the principles here, they offer a really powerful way to think strategically. Using tech for real advantage, not just as a cost.
It transforms how you see IT.
Definitely.
And maybe, given how fast tech just keeps accelerating, this deep dive leaves a question for you to think about. In your own work, your own organization, how much of your productivity boost is really coming from systems innovation, from genuinely changing how you use technology, versus, just working harder or making tiny tweaks? And maybe more importantly, how are you measuring that difference?
That's a fantastic question to chew on.
Yeah.
Something to think about long after we wrap up. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive.
Thanks for listening.
We'll catch you next time.